Continuing coverage tonight, though, as the Diocese of Erie mourns the death of Bishop Emeritus Donald Trautman. The cleric leaves behind a very complicated legacy.
That he does. It's one largely celebrated in his time, but called into question in his later years.
Bishop Donald Trautman served the Diocese of Erie for more than 2 decades, guiding the diocese through struggles like declining attendance and the beginnings of the clergy abuse crisis. Bishop Lawrence Persico says Trautman will be remembered as a leader who cared for those in need, launching the Bishop's Breakfast program from his own residence.
They asked St. Martin's Center to take over the program, and they were able to provide a hot meal, more than a bologna sandwich, for the people on the street and the homeless.
But above that, Trautman was known for his intellect. A devout scholar, he served as a secretary during the Second Vatican Council, which overhauled and modernized the Catholic Mass.
He was a scripture scholar. He was a theologian. Academics was very much a part of his life. In fact, even in retirement, he would sometimes be invited to different parishes to speak on Vatican II.
Revered in his time, Trautman would later fall under scrutiny. A Pennsylvania grand jury report accused Trautman of knowing of clergy abuse, but reassigning priests rather than removing them from ministry. Trautman would defend his actions.
No one brought to me an accusation of sex abuse.
While not defending them, Persico says the entire church made mistakes handling the crisis.
Nothing was okay, but they didn't know how to do it any other way.
Persico says reassigning pedophile priests is never okay. But although history doesn't absolve Trautman of any blame, Persico says it is important to view Trautman's actions in the context of the 90s, not 2022.
I think you have to have a historic perspective. You know, life is different today than it was 20 or 30 years ago. We acted differently. So what could have been good at this time is not so good now.
Trautman leaves behind a complicated legacy. One Persico says, despite its shortcomings, shows the work of a committed leader.
He was faithful to his work as the bishop, as a teacher, as a person who would care for the flock of Christ.
And that really is what this boils down to, is a bit of a complicated legacy. The bishop, known for driving all over the diocese, visiting different churches, really liked getting out there and meeting the people of the diocese. And as Bishop Persico said in his statement when Bishop Trautman passed, he said, regarding the clergy abuse, there will be those who say he didn't do enough. There will be those who say that he got too much blame for it. And it's just a complicated legacy, and the passing of somebody who was a staple in Erie for decades.
Not too many people in the middle. You're all, seeing one side or the other. Yeah.
Welcome to America right now, right? Everybody's divided on everything.
Right, but I think that's a good way to put it, complicated.